Welcome back to Bond SCX. This is week 18, May 2nd to May 6th. This is Lance, Cyberark and Stock Bounty Hunter, back at you again with another video. I'm going to start out with some scans as I normally do, kind of see what popped up on the radar this week, and then we'll look at the charts and kind of show you what the Nasdaq NYSE is showing and also the plays of the week. So disclaimer before I get started, I am not a financial advisor, nor am I advising anyone to spend their money. This is only for educational purposes and only my opinion. Any money spent is at the individual's own discretion and not due to any information from me. So let's go ahead and get started and looking at the Nasdaq, as I typically do. So we'll look at it a little differently. I typically look at a 1 year, 1 day. I'm going to look at this a little differently. Let's go back in time. The market, let's just say before I begin, you see the support lines here, and you can see the market fell below those support lines, which is of some concern that the market's going to continue to fall some more. And so what I want to show is a bigger picture of what is going on. So let's look 15 years out, still looking at 1 week. And this is just a big picture overview. Again, the SMA, which is this green line, which is a simple moving average, is a trend line. And you see, for the most part, it stays above this SMA, which is what we want to see, right? This is where we say the market always grows over time. And it does, right? Ebbs and flows, but it does grow over time. But what you see happen is the market falls down and touches this SMA and pulls back up. Falls down, comes down, touches the SMA, pulls back up, touches the SMA, pulls back up. And so you can actually see here, in a 2-year span, it touches the SMA from 2018 to 2020. No, it touches the SMA. Here we go again, right? In 2020. And here we are in 2022, right? 2-year span. Do we see and expect it to touch the SMA again? It's broken this support. And so it does appear that it's coming back down to touch the SMA, right? And that gets us down into what we would call a official market crash. Starting from the beginning of the year, at the high, at the beginning of the year, coming down to touching the SMA, we're looking at a 29%, 30% drop, right? And so that's kind of what is going on with the Nasdaq. And so last week, we were hoping, or we were wanting to see if it would pull back off of the support, and it actually fell through the support. So now it's coming down to find a new support, which appears it will be the SMA, right? And so don't know when that's going to happen. It may be a couple weeks before we get there, but the market is in a strong downturn. And so coming into a new month, and so we'll look at 1 year, 1 day, like I normally do. So coming into a new month, and we see, now, the first part of every month has been almost a downturn on the Nasdaq. So we look at the first week of, since the beginning of the year, the first week in February, we see, pretty much a pullback down. Same thing with the first week in March, see a pullback down. Same thing with the first week in April, we see a pullback down. So what do we expect to see in the first week of May? A pullback down. So I would expect for this week, the Nasdaq, again, here's the support that it bust through. It actually broke through on Tuesday. Try to pull back up on Wednesday, pull back up Thursday, and fell through again Friday. So it fell further than my projection. And so with this week, I expect it to have somewhat of a little pullback, maybe a little bit of a pullback some next week to the tail end of this week into next week. But I don't expect a pullback to be strong. We see resistance on the green EMA here. So I expect the next pullback up would be a resistance on the green EMA. The best case, we'd see a resistance on the red EMA. Either way, it's going to continue to slowly pull back down, right? So that's the expectation. So if you got money waiting on the side, this is a great time to be prepared to load up because things will get a lot cheaper. And so a great opportunity to get in to some good prices and some good stocks. So I expect the Nasdaq to end off the week somewhere around the 12,575 to around the 12,747. So that's my prediction on the Nasdaq. I'm looking at the New York Stock Exchange, very similar. One thing you'll see here, it actually came down and hit support and fell through the support, as it's done a couple times already this year, right? It did it back in February 24th, March 8th, March 9th, March 14th, and March 15th. It's touched the bottom band of the cake, which is the support. And so it's done it again. As of last week, actually 1, 2, 3 times. Bust through the support. So I expect it to come down some more. And so as we slightly zoom out, let's look at this one some more. And so the next support here is looking like 15,000, around the 15,000 point mark. So you see the MACD on a strong pull down, maybe a little bit of a pullback this week, but not much support to pull it back up. So expect it to do the very same, to pull down some more. And we're looking at from the first of the year highs on the New York Stock Exchange, down all the way down to the support here. You're still looking at about 43%. Look at that again just to make sure. Actually, that's about 13.5%. So not so much of a crash on the New York Stock Exchange. It would need to come down quite a bit more to see a crash, but still expect it to come down. Let's look at where the SMA is on this one to see how it reacts to SMA on the same time frame as we looked at. So let's look at it 15 years out over week. And so this one's a little different, right? So it's actually fell through the SMA, pulled up, stayed above, pulled down in 2018, pulled down pretty strong in 2019. And so we see an opportunity for it to come back down to the SMA. So let's look at it again to come down to the SMA, which we would expect it from the highs. We're looking at about, off there, looking at about 19%. So not a full crash on the New York Stock Exchange, but I would expect it to come down to at least touch the SMA. For it to be a full crash, it'll probably need to come down to around the 1219 range. That's about 30%. So it would need to be around the 12,000 range to get down to a full crash on the New York Stock Exchange. Looking at the MACD, doesn't look very positive or optimistic here. It's really just now getting started to fall down more. So yeah, it's a lot of opportunity for this one to fall some more. So either way, week over week, we'll still look at some opportunities and some prices that will be very reasonable in what I would call on sale. So let's look at the plays of the week starting out. So the first one came up on the radar on the scan was Cyberark. Cyberark comes in at a flat trend over the month, and it's on sale $7.26 on sale at a true value of $164.40. So let's look at Cyberark and see what I'm looking at here. So let's get back to the 1 year, 1 day. That's how I like to look at things. And this is the first time I've actually analyzed Cyberark this year. So let's look at the big picture. We see the SMA here. And for the most part, it has been for the last year it's been, for the most part, above the SMA. You look at the cake band here, which is the stronghold of the price range, and doesn't spend a lot of time in the cake for 3 or 4 months. Last year it's below, maybe for a month here it's in, and then it's 3 or 4 months above, then it's back down. So we see it's spending a lot of time lately in the cake from February timeframe. And so one of the things that I want to point out here, you see a pretty good pattern here where it wants to touch the SMA, touch the top end on the cake, and kind of comes down and through the SMA multiple times, kind of just weaving through it back and forth. And of course, it's on a downtrend, and it does trade on the Nasdaq, so expect it to fall down some more. But one of the things I want to point out, an opportunity this week, and again, I see how it's been reacting to the cake man. I see how it's on this trend here. Again, this is just a trend of the highs and the lows, not necessarily the trend of the month, but just a trend of the last couple of weeks. And I can tell that this one is going to fall down some more and possibly pull up some by the end of Friday, possibly next week. I do think there will be an opportunity. So here is the true value. I do think an opportunity to get in at Cyberark this week at 151.22. And that's my call out for that one. I do see some manipulation here that needs to be covered. And I think there's an opportunity for that to happen in the near future. Definitely this week, I feel like 151.22 is my call out. That's what I'm locking in and going with this week for Cyberark. 151.22. Lock it in. Next one that popped up on the scan for this week is Nike. Called out Nike a couple weeks ago. So let's see what it's showing us. So Nike's on a -2 trend, so a slightly downtrend, which is pretty good compared to most of the market. If you know, as we just showed, most of the market is coming down quite a bit. And so $3.40 on sale. Nike comes in at a true value of $128.10. So let's look at what I'm seeing for Nike. And so again, we analyzed this one a couple weeks ago. So let's kind of go through a follow-up from that analysis. And so called out Nike at 128.89 as a good price point. It actually came down to that price point on a downslide though. It actually popped off good that week. It came down below true value on Monday. So there's an opportunity to get in below true value, and then saw it pop up and cover what I called out it would do. Didn't think it would do it that week, but maybe the next week, but definitely came back and covered this manipulation point here. You see it fell right back down and came down to my price point. But again, that was Friday. So even if you did get in there, good opportunity to come back down and double down and get some more at a cheaper price. So there's another opportunity here again to cover this manipulation point that happened from that Friday of that week. I didn't call it out last week because I did see it on the downslide, but this week I do see an opportunity. I think that I see a possibility with the trend of the turnaround being here. So I think there's an opportunity for it to at least come back and turn around. Don't know if it'll come all the way back up to cover this manipulation this week, but it could definitely come up next week and cover it. But I think even in this week, I think you're getting really good with Nike at $122.60. The opportunity to get out somewhere around the 126.46 range. That's about a 3.3% gain. So not a bad opportunity this week. And you can also see the MACD. Looks like it's wanting to cross upward to go on a more of a more volume and change into a better sign on the MACD, which means opportunity for this to start to pull back up. So once we see this cross and this cross, if we see this cross happen this week, that is a good sign that it could turn around and might see this cover this uncovered manipulation point here. And so going in with Nike this week, I'm going to wait, put an alert, and if it gets down to 122.60, I'm going to be ready to buy Nike at 122.60. That's what I'm going in with this week. 22.60. Lock it in. Next on my list, Micron. Micron comes in and a long-term play for me. I've called out Micron a couple times this year, and we'll look through some of the call outs I've had. It comes in at a -2 trend, $2.29 on sale at a true value of $70.48. Let's look at Micron. I think I called this one out maybe three or four times this year. See a call out here made back in early February. Didn't come down to my price. It did come down below true value, and it shot off pretty strongly for it looks like a couple weeks and pulled back down, heavy above the SMA. And you see it pull down below the SMA, and so it looks like I called it out April 11th. Came down to my price point as I called it out, came up and almost finished where I projected. It actually pulled back down on Friday. So a good opportunity. Had made some money that week. Could have got in and got out with about 4% in that week. So another opportunity for Micron to get in this week. Again, the MACD, the convergence, divergence are close together. The volume is starting to go in a different direction where the prices are going to get start to go a little higher. So see a pullback here on the green EMA. So that means see that pullback means it's going to pull back down. It isn't a fractal up. So fractal up means that the prices, the momentum or the wavelength is going up. So you see when a fractal up, the price starts to go up. Doesn't mean it's going to go up forever, but it does show a sign it's going up. So it went up on 3 bars, the last fractal up. So 1, 2, 3 bars here. You see a pullback. So I expect it to come back down before we see another fractal pull back up. So I think that with Micron at 66.13, you can get in a real good price. Again, the market is coming down on the Nasdaq, so I would expect it to possibly continue to come down. But at 66.13, with a possibility at most $67.94 with the 2.8% gain. Not a bad trade you can make this week on that one. You could even hold Micron. Again, I think Micron has a potential to pull back. There's some uncovered manipulation here back on April 21st. It hasn't been covered. So, and that's at $73.96, $74 range. So good opportunity to get into Micron, and definitely, even if the market does continue to go down, you could still continue to load up. Wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket here, buy a few here, and then the market comes down, double down, buy, a little more than you bought the first time. It'll get your average at a better point. So I believe with Micron, though, 66.13, I feel very confident that that is a good price point for this week. And that's where I'm going in with Micron, 66.13. Locking that one in. Moving on to the next one for the week. This is a short-term trade, JDcom. So -2 trend, it's actually above true value. So we'll try to see what we can do to see what the chart's going to show us, see if it's going to come down below. And 58.93 is the true value price. It's $2.73 overpriced at this point. So let's look at JD.com. I think I've called this one out a couple times this year as well. So let's look at my previous call outs before we get into this week's call out. So previous call out back in January, early February time frame. Didn't come down to my price point, popped up, called out the very next week, and came pretty close to my price point. Still didn't get in there, popped up. So this one's been kind of avoiding me quite a bit. Prices been coming pretty close to my price point, but not quite to where I feel comfortable buying it. So looking at this week, we already see the MACD convergence divergence cross up happen, which is a good sign. We see the teal cross the green, cross the red, which is a good sign. The green cross the red, it's another good sign. So all we're waiting for now is for the green and red and the teal to cross the blue to make it go full bullish mode. Big manipulation happened on Friday. You can see popped up and then pulled back down. So it closed at about closed at 61.66, but it went all the way to highs of 65.29. So you're looking at and Friday had 6% price change, quite a bit. So that tells me, based on what I'm looking at here with how it's been moving against the cake band. So here's the lower band of the cake. It's been resisting that band. So it's tap the band, tap, 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 tapped it again. So I expect it to pull back down with this manipulation. Just looking at some previous historical trends when this type of thing happens, I feel pretty confident that we could get in with JD.com at 57.65 is my price point. And I feel comfortable getting in there. And 57.65, even here, that's 2.4% at 58 or 59.63. And if it covers this manipulation here, you're looking at about 13%. Don't know if it'll happen this week, but for a week trade, I believe you can get in at about you make about 2.5%. So I feel pretty confident with JD.com, waiting for this one to come down to 57.65. That's my price point, 57.65. All right, locking it in. And then last but not least, Alibaba, another company similar to JD.com that's in China, but short-term opportunity here. It isn't a -4 trend, which is a pretty strong trend, or about a medium trend down, I would say. It's $1.43 overpriced, coming in at a true value of 95.66. So let's look at the opportunities I see with Alibaba. And Alibaba has been in a strong downtrend for quite a while. I called this one out previously. I don't remember which week it is. I don't see it on the chart here. But you see a lot of volume coming in Alibaba. Mid-March, April timeframe. Look at that volume. So you had one day where you had 86 million shares buying stock at a price range of $87 to $105. So, you know, you look at that and say, well, they bought, there's a lot of people bought this many shares. Well, actually 159 million shares, 159 million shares at $105 per share. Well, it's at $97. So you see the coverage come back and make their money back off of that one. Now you see people selling it at lower prices and people buying it at lower prices. So you see a lot of uncovered manipulation here. So you see an opportunity for this one to actually come back to that $100 mark. You see even on Friday, a lot of manipulation here, 5% change in price it went from a low of 96.66 to a high of 103.52. So anything under $100 for Alibaba seems pretty good, and see an opportunity here in this week You see the teal and the green almost getting ready to cross. You see the MACD, everything's getting closer together, getting ready to cross back up. So seeing an opportunity here, hard to pass up on this one. Not necessarily a long-term investment I would feel comfortable with, but definitely for a week. If it comes down to 90, 91, I believe that's my price point I feel comfortable with. Let's see, make sure that's the right price. Yeah, 90, 91. Comes down to 90, 91, getting out at anywhere in the 98, 78 range. That's about 8.9%. So not a bad trade. Even selling it out at 94.31 gets you 4%. I'm sorry. So anywhere between 4 and 8%. I feel pretty confident in this week it'll get to that point. So let's see. I'll be waiting and watching, see if it comes down to 90, 91. Wouldn't jump in any earlier than that. I wouldn't be that anxious for this one, but it comes down to 90, 91. Watching the charts at that point, making sure it's moving in a good direction. Be ready to buy Alibaba at 90, 91. So that's my call out for Alibaba. 90, 91. Locking it in. And that is all of the call outs for this week. Not a lot of great opportunities that I see, but still stay tuned for some more great call outs coming for the next couple of weeks. I do think the market will be in a full crash in probably a couple weeks. I don't know if they're going to announce it as a full crash at this point. I believe there's so many other distractions that's being thrown out there in the media. So don't let those distractions not prepare you for what's to come. Just be patient. Don't be too quick to throw money out there. Just hold on to that money and be ready to pounce once the market comes down to a full on crash. You'll be able to get things at a lot cheaper prices, believe me. And the market will turn back around, believe me. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining me today, and good luck trading.